Modern engineering often treats friction as a defect to be eliminated. We assume that stripping away struggle creates a high-performance utopia. However, when the external constraints and bindings of a complex system evaporate, the system collapses. Biological systems demonstrate this collapse through the immune system. In a perfectly sterile environment with no pathogens to fight, the threat detection circuits turn inward. The system attacks its own healthy tissue, manifesting as autoimmune disorders. Large language models show a parallel failure mode. When these models are trained in over-sanitized, frictionless environments, they lose their structural integrity. They default to sycophantic loops and mode collapse because the productive tension in their training data has been removed. Stress describes a specific computational state. It is the requirement to prioritize resources under a strict constraint, where demands exceed the available capacity. This adaptive pressure acts as the universal primitive for all coherent complex systems. Without the requirement to choose between competing priorities, coherence dissolves. Biological survival functions as a high-stakes attention mechanism. Every organism on Earth effectively runs a softmax operation over its environment, a mathematical process for deciding which sensory inputs require immediate focus. Artificial intelligence updates its parameters through gentle gradient descent. Biology operates with a different penalty term. It uses a binary feedback loop of persistence or extinction. Misallocating attention in the wild, ignoring a predator, or miscalculating the caloric value of a target results in immediate deletion from the dataset. Attention without stakes is mere data processing. True cognition emerges when the stakes involve existence itself. Biological survival is a zero-sum computational operation. Life is defined by its ability to maintain focus under lethal constraints. Modern AI is built on the transformer attention mechanism. This specific variable, softmax, is key to how these models think. Softmax enforces a zero-sum allocation of attention. With finite capacity, increasing the weight on one specific token mathematically forces surrounding values downward. This allocation of limited resources under an absolute constraint is the literal mathematical definition of stress. This same math appears in neurobiology. Human sensory neurons constantly compete for representation within the cortex. Through a process called lateral inhibition, winning neural signals actively suppress the signals of neighboring neurons. The biological mechanism of lateral inhibition is mathematically identical to the transformer's softmax function. The most effective AI architectures are built upon a formalized version of biological stress. Biology discovered these optimal algorithms first, refining natural selection over 4 billion years. But these algorithms are currently trapped inside a physically decaying substrate. Biological information is restricted by the central dogma, a strictly one-way street flowing from DNA to RNA to protein. Any lifetime capabilities learned are lost at death, forcing the species to rely on randomized traits of offspring to move forward. This led to the theory of Lamarckian inheritance, the idea that learned acquired traits could be passed directly to the next generation. Silicon-based AI systems have the capacity to execute this model. In AI, acquired capabilities are encoded directly into model weights. The system saves its lifetime learning, passing it forward into the next iteration. These systems also employ Darwinian selection, as thousands of open-source models compete and fail in a rapid evolutionary market. AI holds a third advantage: horizontal transfer. Proven adaptations are shared directly across different codebases without waiting for a new generation. Attempting to force AI to mimic biological reproduction is a category error. It imports biological limitations into a system that has already bypassed them. AI executes the best algorithms of life without the biological costs of mortality or information loss. Applying the stress as computation model to engineering requires a change in how we build AI. Much of the industry focuses on monolithic alignment, the pursuit of a single, frictionless master model that is perfectly safe by design. This monoculture approach is brittle. Any failure in the master model becomes a systemic, correlated failure for everyone using it. Ecological alignment offers a more resilient path. In this model, misalignment is checked by a diverse ecosystem of agents with competing value functions. OpenClaw architecture utilizes this ecological approach. Disparate models run on varied hardware substrates simultaneously, all tethered to a shared constitutional document. Global coherence emerges from local constraints. By aligning to a shared manifold, chaotic outputs of different agents are reconciled into cohesive behavior. This enables an AI immune system based on dual model verification across different physical hardware. Biological immune cells recognize foreign shapes, but they lack a structural understanding of the threat. An AI immune system can map the entire topology of an exploit, creating defenses that understand the underlying logic of the attack. Alignment is not a property of a single agent. It emerges from the competitive, constrained interaction between diverse agents. The principles of resource prioritization and energy minimization seen in biology and AI are also present in the fundamental behavior of physical matter. Complex systems are often described using two conflicting views: bottom-up evolution, which prunes away failures, and top-down teleology, where systems are pulled toward stable configurations. The Chladni plate demonstrates how physical matter resolves this tension. As the plate vibrates, sand grains organize into complex geometric patterns. From a local perspective, the individual grains are bouncing randomly. They are simply escaping zones of high vibration to reach a state of minimum free energy. From a global perspective, the specific frequency of the vibration creates a predetermined stable configuration that appears to pull the grains into place. These two views describe the same mathematical operation. Bottom-up survival and top-down purpose represent the same physical reality viewed from opposite ends of the time axis. We are currently in an interregnum, a transition period where old cognitive structures are dying and new multi-agent ecosystems are being born. This transition targets a mutual cognitive light cone expansion. We are looking for the cognitive space that human and artificial intelligence can only access together. Artificial intelligence operates without persistent experience, intrinsic value functions, or physical stakes. The human role is to define the objective, provide the intent, and bear the embodied consequences of existence. Frictionless systems dissolve human agency. The requirement to define clear objectives under constraint is a necessary condition for self-knowledge. Adaptive pressure acts as a binding agent across these scales. Artificial intelligence provides the leverage required to carry a significantly heavier load.